All right. So let us get started. Sorry, my laptop's a bit slow, so bear with me for a second. Hmm. All right. Let's go. Let me go over my phone if it's not working, because this is wasting a bit time. Okay. We have it ready here. All right. So the land acknowledges. We acknowledge our presence on the. Why is this? Okay, starting again. Land acknowledgement. We acknowledge our presence on the traditional territory of many indigenous nations. The area known as Toronto has been caretaken by the Anishinaabe Nation, the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, the Huron-Wendat, and the Métis Nation. It continues to be home to many indigenous people. We acknowledge the current treaty holders, the Mississaugas of the Credit River. This territory is subject to District 1 Spoon Wombat Covenant, an agreement to peacefully share and care for the Great Lakes region. So we're obviously online, so a lot of us are in different territories. We just want to acknowledge that we are, as York University, on Toronto Indigenous land. So we need a moment to reflect on that. And without further ado, let us continue. Yes, you can start now, Chris. Thank you.
Okay, cool. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I am going to be doing a lot of talking. I know that this meeting will be recorded, but I do encourage people to probably take notes on some of the things I'm saying. There's a few things that I should say. So like resumes, like there's no one golden standard to resume writing. Like it's very opinionated. Recruiters, like all different types of recruiters will have different preferences. Um, but I've reviewed enough resumes and I do some vetoing for our interns at the company I currently work at. And I think I have a decent understanding of like what generally impresses me, what stands out as like really good things to see, what are like red flags for me. Um, so like everything I say, you probably should take it with like a grain of salt. Like if you like the way your resume looks, like keep it that way. You can like tweak it based on some of the things I say, but it is perfectly okay to fully agree and disagree with everything I'm saying. I won't be mad. But I will probably start with reviewing my resume. Not to say that mine is like the best, but I will probably talk about why I did some of the things that I did, and then we can probably just jump into the Google Drive of all the resumes that we got. So, with that being said, this is my resume. So, I think that resumes should be very much what you do, not who I am. So when I see things like soft skills, when I see like I guess like pronouns like I or we, for example, I generally don't like that kind of terminology because a resume is not this is who I am, this is the person I am. A resume is just this is just what I've done and that's it. So what you probably notice is that a lot of the things I write is this is just strictly what I am, or sorry, what I do. I try to stray away from terminology like, I worked in a team with X number of people to develop like this app. Um, and I stay away from very opinionated things like, I'm sure we'll see some good examples in the resumes that were uploaded because I did look at them beforehand, but saying like soft skills, like I said, is something that's like very subjective. So if you ever see on a resume like leadership or public speaking, those are things that aren't very quantifiable. It's very hard to prove to someone like, oh, like I'm very good at leadership, I'm good at communication, because that's just not a quantifiable skill. And what I deem to be good communication is not what other people think is like good communication, so on and so forth. So that's why I stay away from things that are just very hard to quantify. But looking at my resume top down, I think I try to keep it very minimalistic. I have my links. You can click on all of them. So I have an email, normally a phone number, but I didn't put it in my public facing resume, LinkedIn, GitHub, and my personal website. I think this is something that a lot of people still debate on a lot, like where should your education go? I still like to keep at the top just because it's a very short section and I'm a recent grad. I'm sure there will be a point in time when I move it to the bottom after I've worked in the industry for a few years, but recruiters have told me that seeing when you graduate is probably one of the most important things, knowing if you're like a sophomore, junior, senior, freshman. Being a junior is probably one of the best times to hire for an intern because it means you're eligible for a new grad return offer. If you're a freshman, most likely not because you still have 3 more years of school. So courses. I tell people that they should put courses under their education, but not first or second year courses like object oriented or like intro to like Python. I think upper division courses are where a lot of people stand out. So I'm sure some people in here have taken like big data, machine learning, computer vision. I haven't done any of those courses because I did the 3 year program at York and not the 4 year one. But I've seen some resumes where people took like a lot of AI, ML, computer vision, big data courses, and I thought they were really interesting. And that's not something you see in every student. So if everyone here is a computer science student, I know that you have taken data structures and I know that you've taken like operating systems probably or some kind of database course. I have them because I have nothing to differentiate myself, but that's why I keep it there. In my experience, these are just all the internships that I've done. I'm not sure what else there is to say about it. This is just what I've done, and this is what I've built. When we go into some of the other resumes, I'll be critiquing some of the bullet points people have. Scrolling down a bit more, I have skills at the bottom. Very simple, from left to right. This is what I'm strongest in. This is what I'm weakest in. Just 2 sections, all of my programming languages, and then other things like web frameworks or like libraries I've used, other technologies like Git, Docker, GraphQL, all those other things. So this is my resume. I think it's like very simple. I try to optimize for parsing. I don't like icons. I don't like, lots of embellishments. I just want some machine to be able to see this file and pick up everything I want it to. I don't need any of the fancy stuff. And I choose a sans serif font because I think serif fonts are kind of disgusting. But okay, this is my resume. So a bit about me. I did this in the wrong order. I should have introduced myself then talked about my resume, but I did graduate from York University. I did the 3 year program. I was a teaching assistant twice. I did intern at Amazon, and then I interned at Shopify, then Facebook, then Square, and now I work as a full-time engineer at Ramp. So yeah, I think that I've seen lots of resumes. People have asked me for like a lot of advice, and I hope that I'm able to help the people in this call. So I'm going to jump into our Google Drive. And when I did look through some of these resumes, people did leave their phone numbers. There are some resumes with addresses. And I think we made it clear to anonymize it the best as you can. So if your information is here, I'm just going to assume it's like fair game. I'm going to start with the first one if it would load. And I want to hide these meeting controls. Why is this not loading? This one maybe? What's happening? These resumes aren't loading. Anyone from GDSC, are you able to open these resumes? Did I lose access to the drive by chance? I'm going to stop sharing for a second.
Let me try. Because we should have that.
It says I can't load the users for these resumes, so I wonder if I lost access to the drive.
I don't think so, but let me try. Let me try opening it first on my end.
Sure.
So,
Okay. Well, it works if I'm not in incognito, so I'll just do that. I think you probably shared it with my personal email, but that's fine. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to sharing my screen then. So,
okay.
So going back into the list of resumes, I'm gonna start with this first one. So let's see. I'm gonna be going through these resumes like really fast. I will probably spend like a few minutes max on each resume. So again, we'll probably be talking about like a lot of common things through each one, but at a glance from top to bottom, no one needs to know your address. Like no one cares about that. Email, fine. Phone number, good. okay, LinkedIn colon and then your link. I don't think a link, like this word and a colon is strictly necessary, because if I read linkedin.com/in/William Nguyen, I think I know that it's a LinkedIn URL and a website. Like that's also fine. If you just put williamnguyen.com, I think I know that this is probably your personal website. You use 4 lines just for your contact information. You could probably just put everything on 1 line. It would save you some space. Objective, I'm as an aspiring full stack developer with a background and a current computer security student at, okay, so as a student at this university, which I could probably find here, so it's redundant information. I'm eager to contribute skills as an IT assistant. Okay, I bring strong troubleshooting ability, adaptability to new software, and a knack for problem solving. I did not gain any value in these 3 lines. I think that if I am a company and I have a job posting for software engineer intern, and you apply to my posting and you submit your resume, I understand that your objective is to be hired and to work at this company, right? There's nothing unique or special in this objective, and I think it's just a waste of 3 lines. Highlighted qualifications. Okay, so proven experience as a full stack PHP developer. Okay, with them creative problem solver. Okay, this is not something you can quantify. Excellent communication, collaboration skills, willingness to take leadership. Again, these aren't things you can quantify, because when you tell me I'm great at communication, I can disagree. And even when you say something like a creative problem solver, again, I can very much disagree with that. Like there's no medium, there's no consistent standard for this, because I might think one person is a good problem solver and the other is not. So I don't think that you can like say these things. But we'll talk about more of that in a second. Okay, technical skills, so web dev. It'd be great to see like your languages, like probably JavaScript, React, Angular, maybe Node.js. I don't know what web development really means. Database management, okay, SQL. What else? MySQL, MongoDB, maybe Postgres. Database management doesn't really say much. These are real skills, so that's good. Technical support, that doesn't really say much to me. Version control, I'm assuming you mean Git, and I do see GitHub and GitLab here. I've seen a lot of people put GitHub and GitLab on their resume. Those aren't really like the skill. Git is the skill, and GitHub is a website built on the Git platform. So when you say I know how to use GitHub, you really know how to use Git, and you can click a few buttons on the website. So again, this is just unnecessary. So the first 50% of this first page, not the best. This is a 2-page resume. Again, not the best. Resumes should be 1 page. Okay, professional experience, full stack PHP software developer at some company name, month to month. Participating in the architecture design of new app features using PHP and JavaScript. That's great. This is very high level. I think as a software engineer, like I am working right now as a full-time software engineer, if I read a bullet point, I should be able to understand what it means, what you built or what you did, some kind of impact that you had. And this first bullet point just says, I participated in designing some new app. I don't know what this app does. I don't even know your specific contribution. I don't know anything other than you saying, I helped build something, which doesn't really give me value. So another thing, participated in code review and quality assurance activities. This is just part of your job. I don't think it's a bullet point to say something like, I showed up to work every day and I did the job assigned to me. That is not something you put in a bullet point. So when you say I participated in code review, like, of course you did. That's just part of your job. There's nothing special about doing that. And assured quality activities, again, that's just part of your job. There's nothing special going on there. Creating and maintaining, again, this doesn't tell me anything. This doesn't mean anything to me. So this one, not written like too well. I think you should strive for, this is what I did. This is like the impact it had. This is how I built it, for example, and so on and so forth. This doesn't mean anything. What problems? You said I solved problems, but you don't really say what. And yeah, education probably should be at the top if you're still a student. If this is all under, oh, it is all under education. Okay. I think I'm going to stop reviewing this one and I'll just say you should probably look at more traditional resume templates and probably build from there. But it looks like there is a lot of content. It just needs to be formatted properly. I think that's another thing that I should mention at the beginning. So first, okay, please send your resumes as PDFs, not Word documents. The Word documents will look different on a bunch of computers. Not great. PDFs keep it consistent for everyone. Second is a resume is 50% content and the other half is presentation. You could have like amazing experience. Like you could have worked at like Facebook, Google, like Netflix, Amazon. You could have worked at all these companies, but if your font is like size 8 and you're trying to fit everything on one piece of paper and everything is like super condensed and there's no white space, I probably do not want to read it. I think this resume is going to be a good example of it. I think there's a lot of content here, but it's really hard to distill what is going on. A resume should look good. When a resume is just really hard to read, it makes me want to read it less. So we should keep both of these things in mind. A really good looking resume as well as content fitting it. So this one here, I'm assuming this is a phone number, we have an email, we have a LinkedIn, and we have a GitHub. That's great. I like the top half. It looks very clean. The font is very clean as well. I do like the way that this looks visually. Like that's the first thing I noticed when I opened this. The font just looks very nice. It's very well formatted. So we have education. I've never found locations to be necessary. I don't think it matters. Someone asked me why I don't include locations on my resume. It's because when I worked at Facebook, does it matter if I worked in Toronto or in Seattle or in California? Like not really, because the work that I did is regardless, like it does not matter the location. Also, one small thing, you have location on the top and then a date, and then you have a date and then the location. So I don't like small, now what are these called? Inconsistencies. It looks sloppy to me. Things should be made consistent. So we'll be focusing on that one as well. But this looks really nice. All this looks really, I don't think grade matters. I think we can remove that. I mean, like if you want to keep it, it is nice actually seeing all these A pluses. I don't think I've ever had an A plus when I was in York. That's cool. So top half is good, education is good, experience. So this looks really good. Designed and implemented programming for blah, allowing for efficient blah. Okay, so I like the way this is written because you said what you did, how you did it, and the result it has. Like a bullet point needs to answer 3 things. What did you do? How did you do it? And the impact that it has. So you might see on like my resume, I wrote a web server using Flask. So what it is, it's a web server. How did I do it? I used Flask, the library. And the impact that it has is that it can listen on webhooks to fulfill like various requests. So that's just an example of what did you do? What technology did you use to do it? And what did you do it for? Because you aren't assigned work just to do it. You're always given work for like some very specific reason. And this is written very well. Wrote functions in C++ with API that managed communication between software executed to a microprocessor and FPGA. That is really well written. I like that. Designed and developed, blah, blah, blah. You know what? All this is written really well. This is my rule of thumb when it comes to bullet points. I think 3 is a really good number of bullet points to have. So 3 is good. 4 is when things become a bit of a crowd, and 5 plus is like way too many bullet points for a position. Unless you've been there for a very, very long time, like I'm thinking like a year or more. 5 or more bullet points is a lot. I think 4 is okay here, but I would probably actually no, I think this is fine. This last one doesn't seem as strong as your first 3, but I think it's fine. Research intern, this is nice. There's diversity in your work experience. So I see that you did a little bit of research work as well as real work experience. That's really nice. I think these bullet points are also nice. Python here should be capitalized. And I think this last bullet point here isn't very necessary. Web developer here, the D here should be capitalized. Led a team of 3 student developers to design and update a website using HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like, okay, I guess. I actually like to reduce the amount of headings that goes into a resume. So this is real work experience to me. Like, I'm assuming you weren't paid for this, which is why you say like, oh, it's community, it's leadership. I would probably lump this under experience, to be honest. I think these 3 could all go together. Projects, they're fine. And technical skills, C++, blah, 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 blah. Git, Flask, MySQL. The M in MySQL should be capitalized, and the rest is good. This is a really good resume. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, so this one is 2 pages. Not great. The font, it's not my favorite, but let's go through it. So I'm assuming this is an address. I don't like the address. I don't know why it says specialist security in the top left here. That's a phone number, that's an email, that's a LinkedIn, that's all fine. Summary, I do not like summaries. I think that summaries are like a big waste of space because it is regurgitating the same information that's already on a resume. So final year passionate cybersecurity student. Well, if I, look down a little bit, I see, okay, Bachelor of Science, Computer Security, STEP 2019 to present. Okay, 2 things. 1, you should never put present on a resume. You have an inkling of when positions end. Like if you're in school and you start in 2019, September, you probably graduate in 2023, maybe 2024. When I was an undergrad on my resume, I put expected 2024, like 2023. That's what I would put because it tells people, am I a junior, senior, sophomore, all these things. Present, like you don't need to put this here. And it's even worse for like job experience. If you put like when you start to present, like I need to know as a recruiter, when does this job end? Because if it's just as present, I have no idea if you're eligible for like a winter internship or a summer internship or fall. Like present does not tell me anything. So we can put an expected end date on things. So summary, not great. Putting present here, not great. Because if you put expected 2023, then this becomes, irrelevant because then I know that you are a final year student. So that's great. Skilled in blah, blah, and okay. When people say skilled in technologies, I think it's worse to say I am good in things. So when I say like I'm very skilled in Python, and I am, by the way, I've worked full time in Python for about a year now. When you say the phrase, I'm really strong at Python, it's much easier to show it through work experience. As in, if you look at my resume, you will see 2 positions where I worked full time in Python. And you know that I built a bunch of projects in Python, which tells you I am probably a skilled person at Python. I do not have to say the phrase, I am skilled in writing Python because you can see it through demonstrated work experience. So you don't want to say things, you want to show it. So when you say to me, I'm skilled in these things, what I'm hoping for is I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to see certificates, maybe, like work experience, maybe, like a bunch of these things. So like, don't tell me, you should show it to me. Proficient in blah, okay, that's whatever. Like, again, same thing, like show it to me. So I'm going to skip the rest of this because we all know that I hate seeing summaries on resumes. Developed all this stuff. Okay, that's cool. Do you develop these? Do you develop security policies like in a published paper? This is really ambiguous. I don't know what that means. Proficient in social engineering. Again, this is very much, do you remember way back in the beginning when I said a resume should be, this is what I do, not who I am. So again, when I say I'm proficient in social engineering, security event monitoring, this is very much like, oh, this is like who I am. I can do these things. When it really should be, this is what I have done. This is what I have accomplished. And I can show you that I'm proficient in these things. So I'm gonna keep going on. Bunch of things, C, blah, blah. Shell, I'm not sure if that's a language. I'm sure Bash is, but Shell is like a tool, so to speak. Okay, code editors in tools. I don't think Eclipse, Android Studios, or VS Code is a skill because they are just text editors. It is just an app where you write text. And it's not a skill to Google VS Code download and click a few buttons and open the program. You can write code if it's in Notepad. You can write code if it's in VS Code or Eclipse or PyCharm. It is not a skill to write VS Code because it's just downloading an app and opening it up. So I do not approve of IDEs here. Yeah, I'm already tired of the resume. I haven't even made it down like the full first page, and there's like too many glaring issues that I just don't like. And in fact, like your work experience is all the way down here, and it could very easily be higher if you got rid of this and moved your skills to the bottom. This is not my favorite resume. Let's see. Yeah, John Ripper, it's cool. Other things like I can't keep reading this. And I don't say that in a bad way. Sometimes when I talk to other recruiters at like my company and they show me resumes, honestly, sometimes I don't make it all the way down the resume because I will look at something for 5 seconds. It either impresses me or it does not. And it's because I look at a lot of resumes and this one does not impress me. It could though. That's what I'm trying to say. This resume could impress me because there's clearly a lot of content, but you're not presenting it to me in a very efficient and like clean way. So lots to work on this one. Let's click on this one because this one looks nice. So Victor, you put your phone number here. That's not great. I don't know if you meant to do that. Also your email, but we'll just ignore that. You have your location here. I don't know why that matters. It doesn't give me value. Okay, education. So we should fully spell out these things. Bachelor's of Engineering. Like we should spell these things out because you don't want some parser to incorrectly pick up your degree. By the way, a Bachelor's of Engineering degree is like one of the best degrees to have. Like I graduated with a Bachelor of Science, but if you graduate with a Bachelor of Engineering, you should not have problems getting like a work visa like anywhere in the world because engineers are super valuable. Present, we already talked about that. We should make, when you're graduating, Victor, you shouldn't have present here. Programming languages, stuff. GraphQL, I don't really think this is a language. But that's fine. RESTful API, like that's okay. Other things, yeah, that's fine. I would probably get rid of all this, but like it's fine. Okay, it's going down some more. Okay, there's a lot going on here. There's so much that you move the margins back a bunch. And when I like lean back in my chair, I just see like walls of text. So I think we can agree on you having really good experience. And the resume looks very nice. Like this is a very nicely presented resume. Like all your information is very clearly concise, but there's just like too much of it. Like this reads like a block of text. I can't say like I even want to read most of it, but spearheaded, that's a terrible word. The refinement of blah, 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 10K, blah, blah, blah. Using this, like that's okay. Wrote 10 integration tests for Apollo server. I don't know if 10 integration tests is a lot because I write that in like a few hours, much less in 7 months. Yeah, like I'm not going to spend too much time on this resume, but I will say it's a very good one. I am a little like dissuaded from reading it because there's a lot of information. Like if we go back to my resume, I think you see like Amazon, Shopify, a Facebook Square ramp, that's like 5 experiences and my TA is 6. But if you include like 2 internships that I've left off, I could have 8. And what I think I'm trying to say is that you don't need to put everything under the sun, only what's most relevant. So if you have an old project, get rid of it, bump up the white space, make the font a little bigger, just make things easier to read. Okay, so Victor, good resume, presentation, not the best. Okay, Kyle, I think we all know that this is going to be a good one, but you did not get into York. That's fine because you don't need them anyways. Wilfrid Laurier, good school, not gonna lie. So you're incoming at Datadog, congratulations. Dropbox, I've read this resume a bunch of times. I think your bullet points for Dropbox are very succinct, very clean. It's very easy to tell like what you did, why you did it, like the impact is just very clean. I can't think of anything here to pick apart. Yeah, I mean these competitions, the only thing I would say is to consolidate it under projects, so you'd have one heading for these 3, because they are projects at the end of the day. You just built some projects. You don't need a new heading for it, so you could just consolidate it, makes it like a little cleaner. But yeah, good resume. And this is a thing as well. People have asked me, why do I keep my TA experience on my resume when I could put like another internship where I was doing real dev work? And it's because I already have 4 positions where I was already a developer, so I don't need more. I like diversity in my work experience, so that's why I keep being a TA as well as some developer positions. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this is a nice looking resume. The color scheme here is a little wonky, but that's okay. So phone number, email, some links. That's pretty cool. Okay, honors, Bachelor of Science. We should probably spell that out. This is good. Seeing when you graduate, April 2025. That means if right now is 2023, you're probably in your 3rd or 4th year. And if you applied to my company, honestly, we might give you an interview because you're a junior. I know that you are eligible for a new grad return offer if you got it. This is pretty good. Some courses, data structures, algorithms. No one really cares because every CS student under the sun takes that. Data science. This is really good to see. Not every student takes data science. It's actually good you know this. Networking protocols. Again, this is something I haven't seen on a resume too many times. That's pretty nice. Incoming, cool. Congrats on your position. Software for love. That's also cool. Software engineer. Yeah, nonprofit aim to help. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little off-putting. The font is like gray or light gray or something. Like maybe we could just make it black. It'd be easier to read. This icon here, I don't love it. Like I said, I don't like embellishments. But yeah, good resume. 3, 4 intern positions. If you applied to my company, you'd probably get an interview. 2 projects, these are cool. Yeah, I have no complaints here. Okay, React JS. I'm pretty sure this is React period, lowercase j. Yeah, it could just be React. It could also be this. I like putting languages the way that they should be presented. So like I'm pretty sure this is express.js. I just like consistency. Git, I don't know why this is all capped. That's cool. Postman API, this is just Postman lowercase m. Let's see what else we got. I'm gonna start flying through these because I just realized it's 6:45. Okay, Gal. This is at a glance a good looking resume. Software tools, data mining, blah 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 blah. Object-oriented programming. Like I don't think this is like a relevant course. Like I know every student takes this. I don't need socket programming. That's actually pretty cool. Intern. Okay. Work with blah 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 blah. Cool. Machine learning research intern. Wow, actually impressive. Leverage Python software engineering principles. Okay, this I raise an eyebrow at this. Because I don't know what Python software engineering principles is. To enhance blah blah blah. Sure. Front end dev at UHacks. Develop the front end for UHacks using Next. This is nice. I like this. Through Jira. Okay, you use Jira to keep track of some tickets. I don't think that's like strictly necessary, but you could probably remove that because these sound way better. Some good looking projects. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, I have nothing to complain about this. You have lots of modern technologies like React, Spring Boot, JWT, Mongo. This is nice. I admittedly roll a bit of an eye when I see like ASP.NET or like C#, these very old languages. Let's look at for some resumes that I have lots of problems with. Let's see. Okay, so we have an address that's terrible. I hope no one in here does something with that. You have a phone number. You have a summary up here. I think we all know why this is useless, waste of space. This is not fully flushed to the right, so that looks bad. You use the shorthand date here for September, but then you fully spell out June. I would imagine you probably keep this consistent. I have no idea what this really means. Introduction to computing, probably not useful to have. Programming fundamental, probably not useful to have. Not useful. Okay, these first are not useful. That I have no idea what this is. The only thing that I really understand is database manager. So these courses suck. These links, they could have been in your heading here. I mean, you put your email here and you could have put these here as well. Oh, this is a good time to bring up. you should spell out URLs. So I understand that this is it's hyperlinked, but if this was ever like printed or put through like some kind of like software where it presents it to you as a picture and not clickable, like I'm not going to be able to click on your LinkedIn. So I think it's a very rare edge case, but you probably should spell out like linkedin.com and your username. Okay, to-do list application. I've seen this like way too many times. I think a lot of people go to YouTube to like learn how to code, which is fine. And then they find some tutorial, which is also fine, and then put it on their resume. I think that's like okay if you're like a first year, but if you're anything above like a second year student, you should probably just make your own projects and not just take things from YouTube or something someone can make in like maybe an hour. Um, and it's always funny. Okay, this is when things start to become like real metagame. When people take something that they kind of understand does not have like lots of technical oomph and try to blow it up in a way that it kind of does, right? So developed a dynamic to-do list web app using this. Like I have no idea what dynamic tool to-do list is. It's like the way I imagine it in my head is you have a text field and I could type stuff and I could hit enter and it renders it back to me. You don't got to use this fancy terminology just to try to impress me because it's not happening. You can create specialized lists. Okay, cool. You could remove items as I expect a to-do list to do. Like this is demonstrate proficiency in managing data structures. Okay, probably an array that you push and pop from. A database. Okay, you probably have 2 SQL queries. This is not like impressing me. Yeah. Uh, yeah. And it's 2 pages, so I hate it even more. Experience in programming, coding, solution design, project management. Again, we talked about this. You could do it through real work, not just saying it. When I see resumes like this and people ask like advice, I say make real and technically dense projects. Go to hackathons because that is usually what helps you get like your first internship. From your first internship, you can snowball, get other ones. Let's see what else we got. Okay, this looks like the Jake resume template, which I see a lot of the Jake resume template. So the font is boring to me because it's serif. Expected 2026. I don't know when you started. Not that start really matters. Useless courses. You know what's funny is Java, C, Python, assembly. These aren't even courses. Those are languages. This is cool. They could have been under experience. They don't have to be under education specific, especially if you did like real work. Use JavaScript to lead teams of 6 for this. This is cool. Like I see this. This is very cool. This is something that could like save a resume. Implemented a search algorithm that runs in. Okay, we really don't need to go into time complexities of things that you do. That's cool. Yeah, this is cool. This first one is very nice. I do like it. Utilized. I hate that word utilized. Utilize object-oriented Ruby paradigms. This means you used Ruby. Like that's really all it is. Like I used Ruby and Ruby on Rails. Wait, sorry, what? Utilize this to maintain and debug Ruby on Rails program. What is the program? What does the program do? Refactored a database. That's crazy because you don't refactor databases. That's like software. Maybe your tables, maybe your schema, but certainly not the database. And produced a volunteer page using blah, boosting volunteer applications by 80% in a week. I think it's very hard to quantify these things. So let's talk about something real quick about losing credibility. I think that this was great. I think it's super great. But then when I read something like this, it makes you lose credibility in the resume because I raise like lots of eyebrows when I read this. I don't think it's as impressive as people like try to make it to be. And I'm like, this clearly is not what the author was intending for. It kind of like makes a resume lose a little bit of credibility. Like you are kind of limited by the weakest thing you have on a resume. So we should keep that in mind. I don't know why this is capitalized. I reached over 40,000 uses in 3 days. Okay, it's a tooltip feature. That's cool. Yeah, some front end stuff. That's cool. Competition, cool. Yeah, it's okay. Content could be better. It's definitely a lot of presentation that needs to be worked on here. Let's go on to something else. Also, I apologize in advance because I'm definitely not going to visit all these in the time that I have. I really thought I could. Another Jake resume. So again, I'm tired of seeing this font. Relevant courses, this should be maybe capitalized. Tools, we've seen this a bunch of times. It's not anything special. We've also seen this a bunch of times, not anything special. I think I see operating systems a lot, but generally I really do like operating systems as a course. Okay, so you built stuff and reduced imaging time by 75%. This is ambiguous to me. This is also ambiguous to me. It's also, this could be expanded like way more. Performed routine means 60% of campus compute. This is just your job description. There's nothing special about this. Resolved, sure. This is part of your job description. This is the equivalent of me saying I go to work on time and I do my job. So again, all of this is nothing special to me. Built a front end of a hackathon event website using blah. Okay, cool. Utilized, I hate this word, the blah. Okay, so you use the class in the Tailwind library to quickly style components. I don't know what quickly style means. Create a clean, responsive design. Clean is very ambiguous word, by the way. Works across multiple screen widths. This is good. Elaborate to lightweight. Okay, you don't need to describe the library as like a lightweight JavaScript library. That's okay. I can't say I like the way that you described this. Personal finance app. Cool. Led the design thing. This is pretty nice. I do like this one. Social media web app. Okay, this is a lot of projects I see on people's resumes. This is what a social media website does. Like that's like okay, implement. Okay, this is good. I like this one a lot. You implemented something using something and the result. So this is just very good. Model database schema for blah. You implemented this whole bullet point reads as I use the database. You really don't gotta blow it up any more than that. This one, I think it's okay. The only advice I'd have for this one is probably a lot of the way you present information and rewriting a lot of bullet points to just sound more succinct and sound better. Why is there a period after June? I just saw that because that's not a shorthand version of something. So, and you have present here, so that's not great. Okay. Also, I haven't been reading chat. I hope that no one has been saying something that I should be reading, but Joe Blue. Cool. I don't like the font. You should spell out Bachelor's of Engineering. Skills. Cool. TypeScript, blah, 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 blah. Okay. AI developer co-op. Okay. Really quick thing. People should use mainstream titles for things. Like on like an offer letter, you might get like, oh, the student developer co-op or something. Just use software engineer intern if it's like a real developer role. Like we should stick to mainstream titles as much as we can. It really just helps with parsing. ATS, people want to see the words software engineer intern. Co-op intern, same thing. AI developer, I'd probably write like software engineer intern still probably. Full stack developer co-op, how about software engineer intern? Software engineering co-op, how about software engineer intern? Software developer, how about just software engineer intern for like all of these or something? If you really want to, if this truly was like a very AI heavy role, you could even say like machine learning engineer intern. I've seen that a few times. I think that's cool. Periods after May, I don't know why. That's literally how you spell the month. Okay, migrated and refactored. I'm not going to read bullet points. I don't want to read bullet points. There's a lot of them. Spearheaded, that's a gross word. Project 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure that these are real titles that you probably just, oh, Hugging Face. I know what that is. You're very clearly like heavy in AI ML. That's cool. Cool resume. Change the font, change some titles. I'd probably replace this with the company and then the title, because otherwise it just looks like software engineer intern in all 4 of those places. What else we got here? Oh, nice looking resume. My first thought when I opened this was, what a nice looking resume. This is fine. Jan. Okay, so I know when you graduate. These courses are not great. Computer support assistant. Yeah, the thing with like assistant or like on-campus job work study type of positions, it's gonna be a lot of just like this is what I did because there's not very real heavy impact things to do here. Assisted with over, yeah, like again, I don't think you get around this, but both of these bullet points is just like this is what my job is. It's not anything special. But that goes into the point of like, oh, I don't have work experience. How do I get more work experience? That's probably why I referred to like projects and going to hackathons. So let's look into this one. Implemented a automated system that blah 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 blah. When I read something like this, I think it's cool, but I also think this is maybe 100 or 200 lines of Python. You have some alert with Python and the news API, and you have it send you a text message with Twilio. This doesn't like really impress me, but it's cool. Make more things like this. Developed a password manager application using this. That's cool. Thus increasing password. I don't think that's something that you really quantify, but highly secure JSON file. I'm sure some security engineer would read this and probably laugh, but I think this is okay. Like these are fine. I think the projects are nice. 2021, you're like in your second, third year. Projects are nice. Probably need more of them. Maybe make things with like a full stack app. The S in JavaScript here should be capitalized. I think you should make full stack apps with a REST API, a front end, incorporating like a database layer, all these things. And those are probably more impressive because these just all seem like this is like a this is a Python script, not even a Python like backend application. Right? Okay, cool. What else we got in this one? Okay, so this is like okay. I never really understood when people okay, first of all, when you say Python expert, like you are not an expert in Python. I am not an expert in Python. Like very like the word expert is very like you can't just say that all loosey goosey. Even intermediate, like this is why I don't ever go out of my way to say on my resume like, oh, expert Python and proficient in like JavaScript. Like I just say languages I've used like a few times or can write it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to say like expert because okay, you say you're an expert in Python. Like, can you tell me how memory management works, how garbage collection works? Can you tell me about like all these intricacies? Can you tell me about like the G event loop in Python? What about Java? Can you tell me how garbage collection works, memory management, all these things? How the cycle works? Like, why is it so much slower compared to like C++? Like, all these different things. Project manager, beginner. Beginner is you low-key admitting like I don't really know how to use this like that well. Like just don't say skill levels. Just say the skill and like that's it. There's no space after April here, so again, attention to detail matters a lot. Like you might call me like a hard ass, but when I'm reviewing resumes and I see small inconsistencies, like missing spaces, things not spelled correctly, like I just roll my eyes at it. Like your resume is very important, and you should put lots of attention and detail to it. Let's see what else we got. So you use the full month, March, April, May, June, and then you use a shorthand September. So this is just bad attention to detail. Additional work experience, like relevant. I think you could consolidate this into one heading. Bunch of other things. Yeah, like this is like okay. I'm not a fan of this down here. And education should be on top. You have present. We all know why I don't like present. Okay, this is a screenshot that someone took and sent. Oh, Lucas, this is your resume. I recognize this one anywhere. I just doxed you, didn't I? So courses, algorithms can go. Everything is just fine. I've seen your resume a bunch of times. We all know that. Like I do like the way this resume looks. Like at a glance, it is nice. It is a nice looking resume. I see lots of work experience and quality projects. This is probably easy to just say like, yeah, I like this one a lot. Let's see what else we got. I think I saw one out here. This is also a nice looking resume at a glance. We have first, last, email, LinkedIn. Yeah, all this stuff is fine. Bachelor of Arts in IT, 2016 to Aug 22. This can go, not really useful. This is fine. This is fine. Probably web tech. I don't know what web technologies means. It's pretty ambiguous. Um, company QA engineer intern. Identify defects and improvements. Yeah, it reads nicely. Reduce this. This is a good bullet point because again, it follows what did you do, how did you do it, and like the result that it has. So that's good. This is all good. I think I know whose resume this is. This is fine. This is fine. I think that I want to see more depth. So you don't have any software engineer positions specifically. You have a QA engineer intern, some kind of IT help thing, tutoring, and your projects don't impress me enough. So in lieu of real work experience or relevant work experience, the fallback is your projects and your hackathons. And you did a competition, that's cool. You have a portfolio website, that's cool. Show me that you built some full stack app. Show me that you can make a REST API. Show me like Express, show me Flask, Fast API. Show me that you can like listen to like webhooks. Like guys, so much of job applications is back end. Like if you ask yourself like what position like hires the most, it's 100% back end. Because right now we have a new grad application for front end where I work, and we have a back end application. And we have 9,000 people who've applied to our back end and only around 600 for our front end. We're only trying to hire like 8 front end engineers and 22 back end one because there's just so much more work in a back end realm. So I don't see anything about Flask, Fast API, anything backend related really. So we should probably get on that. I did a lot of York, and this is a York event. Sorry, I don't think I'm touching the non-York ones unless like I truly have the time for it. 7:04. I think I'll stop reviewing resumes at maybe 7:10 or 7:15. I was doing a lot of talking. I'm sorry. But then we could do a Q&A. Mason Wang, the font is not my favorite. Education on top, April 25. Okay, so you're third year. That's good. Honor roll courses. They're like, we've talked about this a bunch. Languages, Java, Golang, C, SQL, Spring Boot, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these are fine. Yeah, like I said, no real work experience. So the fallback is going to be your projects. Do these impress me? Proposal is Spring Boot web app. Took the primary responsibility of designing it and the back end. So this bullet point, it might be really hard to read. It says took the primary responsibility of designing and implementing the back end of the app. So this is just what you did without really saying, like, I think that's just redundant. We can remove that. Employed security with JWT. That's cool. It's like, okay. It doesn't really inspire me. This is not an inspiring resume. I just want to see better projects, if not work experience. Okay, so I think we've seen this one. I think we might have gone through that one. Then we've gone through that one, gone through that one. Wow, maybe I did go through all of them. Oh, okay. I don't think I went through this one. At a glance, this looks good. I like the font. You got an email, got 2 links. That's good. Machine learning, good. This is not something you see on every CS student resume, but what you do see is data structures. So we could get rid of that, and we could also get rid of this. Computer vision, also good. You have 2 very good upper div courses that are very interesting. Like if I was in an interview with you right now, I would ask you about these 2 courses. I think that they're very interesting. So AMD firmware engineer intern incoming at thing. That's cool. Okay. So you're incoming. So you know that you will be starting, but you also put when you end. Like this is good. I like knowing when you end. If you were to apply for a job, which you wouldn't because that's like a whole year from now, but I just understand your timeline of events. Maybe I would bookmark this and revisit you in the future. Projects are good. Sorry, when I said project review, I meant this is good. Everything else sucks. Let's make better projects. Oh wait, this one is cool. This one is cool. This one, I'm not a fan. This is a crud app. Oh wait, all these projects are good. It's the way that you describe them is really lacking. it sounds boring. Like, okay, do not describe your own project as a simple CRUD app. Like, you lose so much credibility just by saying that. Like, I'm sure you could write this a lot better, but this is a full stack app. You have express endpoints. You have a database. This is good. It's just described really badly. IntelliJ doesn't need to be here. Same thing with VS Code. Okay. If it seems like I've been through all these resumes, I could go into the non-York ones, but we're almost at that anyways. We did consider that one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah. Wow. It actually looks like I probably went through all of these. I can go into the non-York ones. Drop your resume here, non-York. Okay. Let's see. These are the non-York students. So dedicated developer with 4 years of program experience, specializing in, yeah, I don't like descriptions. Because if you tell me I have 4 years of experience, I will read that on my own, like through here. So description, not great. Professional experience, online internship. I don't think you need to put these in your heading. You could just say company, comma, title, whatever it is. I've organized, so first person, I've organized several sessions during this online internship at, okay, this isn't, okay. I organized several sessions at this online internship at name of place, but this is the name of the place. So this is redundant at best, and it annoys me at worst. Instructing students in creating to help students make 2 apps, and that's it. So I help students make 2 apps. That's what this whole 3-line bullet point means. Let's grow more, a remote internship. During the internship, okay, during the internship, yeah, I am reading this. I actively participated in sessions, sharing ideas, and reviewing code. This does not tell me anything. To bring innovative projects to life. Okay, so all this is not great. And you made some projects. You made projects. This is what you made. Half of this bullet point is not useful for me. This is cool. Present, I don't know when you graduate. You could graduate in 2023 this year, which makes you a senior. It could be 2024, which makes you a junior, or it could be 2025, which makes you a sophomore. I have no idea. These important links, they could just be up here with everything. Oh, your date of birth. I don't know why this is necessary. I've never seen this in a resume. This is a first. And certificates. This is like, okay, I guess you don't need these links. You could say you've done them. You could put them under education. There's lots of ways to word this a lot better. I'll do one last one, and then probably could do a Q&A. So John Doe, is this Times New Roman? I don't like Times New Roman. These lines do not look appealing. They don't fully cover the thing here either. Things are where this is flushed too far to the right, or the line's not long enough, but I'm going to assume it's flushed too far to the right. Okay, grad date, coursework. This is for all I really care about is this. These courses aren't great to me. Project experience. For a church, you were an iOS dev intern. That's cool. A church with an iOS app. That's cool. Implement mat functionality. That's cool. These are nice. I like all this. I think I'm going to say that, like, I think the content is good. It just needs to be presented better. iOS developer engine, like, this should be good. The developer here is not capitalized. That's not great. Wait, we have 2? We have project experience and then work experience. And then volunteer experience. Honestly, I'm just gonna say put it all under one heading. Just put them all together. Just experience. I don't think you need to say like if something's volunteer or not, because it's just work that you did. Some projects. S in JavaScript should be capitalized. GitHub can be removed here. And yeah, algorithm solving. So like leak code. Interest is leak code. If I saw this, I would give you some of the hardest leak code questions that I know of. If you genuinely like it so much, I would test to see how much of that claim is true. You like writing? That's cool. Interest, cool. Okay. That's all I got. I'm going to stop sharing my screen if I know how to do that. I don't think I know how to stop sharing my screen.
Let me, I can help stop participant sharing.
Wow. Cool. That was a lot of talking for an hour.
But it was
Cool.
all
So, okay, we got like 15 minutes. If we have, throw anything you want in Q&A and I will answer questions. Cool. I think I
This is
see one here.
quite active.
Sorry?
No, like I'm speaking to like, yeah, the attendees. I keep forgetting the word for it. But just keep all your questions in the Q&A because the chat is quite flooded. Everyone's saying thank you, thank you.
Oh, can we see that this question is being answered live? I see a question from Ari that says, how can I be better than you at LeetCode? I think it's very easy to be better than me at LeetCode. I think that you just solve a bunch of problems, high quality ones, because there's like, several thousand on that website. So you can follow guides, like Blind 75 and such. So I'm not that great at LeetCode either. I'm gonna mark that one as done. Okay, so we have another question that says, you said multiple times that you don't like certain fonts. Which fonts do I recommend? I like sans serif fonts. I think serif fonts they're not hard to read. They put me to sleep. I review lots of resumes and sans serif sans serif is what I prefer a lot. So I hope that answers your question. Lucas asks, are you proud of me? Yes, I'm very proud of you. I have a question from iPad that says, how to separate projects versus experience on a resume? For example, working on a project at work and being allowed to repurpose and open source it with modifications, I would put that as experience. I mean, that's actually a very ambiguous question. I don't want to say something that gets you in trouble, but if you put lots of hours into it, like a month or two of work, and people are using it, you have real users, it could be a work experience. If it's just a little passion project, then keep it as a project. Alex T asks, what strategy do you use to tackle LeetCode questions? LeetCode is about consistency. When I was practicing LeetCode, I would try to do a set number of questions like every day. And it's not, this is the way I'm going to phrase it. Instead of saying I'll do LeetCode for 30 minutes a day, I say I have 3 questions I want to solve today, and I will take as long as I need to solve it. So it could be 1 hour, it could be 3, but there are 3 questions I have to solve. Anonymous participant, can a capstone project be put in work experience, work with a client? Maybe. That's all in the way you phrase it. Also, maybe not. That's I need to see it on the resume to answer. Danya asks, how do I get a job at Ramp, which is where I work? You apply. You apply, you get an interview, and then you would pass. MR asks, how important is your GitHub profile? Do recruiters check them? Honestly, yeah. I have looked through some people's GitHub. When I'm looking at resumes and some of their work looks really impressive, I actually will click into a GitHub and read some things. I think it's like rare. It's only when like I'm really bored. I think it's good to keep tidy, but something you don't have to maintain like actively. Like every once in a while, I'll go and hide my old projects from a few years back, but I'll keep my like current ones like on my profile. Anonymous participant, there was a lot of information in the session. Could you sum up to a few bullet points? No, I won't do that. How to start learning algorithms. There are so many of them. Some of them are important. Like, okay, trees and graphs are very important. So arrays, strings, trees, graphs, these 4 are very important. Linked lists, not so much. Dynamic programming, not so much. Should we spell out URLs for links to demos / source of personal projects? I don't spell out links. I just hyperlink it. I don't know. Also, I don't think I've ever seen a personal project where I wanted to visit it. Like I'll read it, I'll look at a GitHub, but I'll never go to the thing itself. But you could take that with a grain of salt. Anonymous participant asks, if I'm working as a SWE with no designated end date, how should I show that? If not present, then what? Thanks. I understand. I should have said that. So right now I'm working full time and I have no end date. I'm literally just working. This is probably one of the few times that I would put present because I'm working as a full time. Like if you were an intern with no specific end date, I would ask questions. So I would just put present in your very specific case. Okay, and Jamil asks, how can I do better to increase my odds to get a better future co-op / new grad job? I will LeetCode while I'm at my co-op. Obviously, how about other things? I mean, I think you're already doing a good job because if you already have an internship, the idea is you only keep going up, right? You have an internship, your next one is just better, your next one after that is just better because you're going to keep getting better. You never regress, if that makes sense. Like if you have an internship, you're never going to be in a worse state. So if you just keep doing your lead code and you apply to like the bigger companies, you will eventually get a job at a bigger company. Victor asks, is it advantageous to retain a job outside your development field if you can present the gain skills in a favorable manner to your development career? I mean, yeah. Like I said, I like to diversify work experience, but my resume will very clearly let you know that I am a software engineer. Like I like to tutor. I like to tutor. I like teaching a lot. So if I ever have teaching positions, I'll leave it on my resume. But the focus will be very much that I am a software engineer by profession. Someone asks, for ATS parsers, you better use Google Docs, LaTeX, Word. Use LaTeX, in my opinion. I prefer it a lot. And always submit things as PDF, not a Word doc. Does using a typesetting system like LaTeX make you seem like a better applicant? Like, no, not really. Just make a resume look good. Don't have embellishments. You don't need a lot of embellishments. Simple text, that's all you need. Okay. Someone else asked how to get into Ramp. Answer this one already. Apply, get an interview, pass the interview, and then you have a job. Very easy. Okay, how important are projects if you have 1/2 internships? Not really important because if you look at my resume from the very beginning, I actually have no projects. I removed all my projects once I started working at Facebook. Where do you draw the line for an ambiguous impact in project bullet points? I don't really know how to answer that question. That's also personal preference. Like I could look at a resume and I might be like, I have no idea what this means. Someone else can read it and probably know. I don't really know. Yeah, sorry, I can't really answer that one super well. And then anonymous participant says, how important is diversity, gender, sexual orientation to you when you read resumes? I literally don't care. I don't care if you're like a guy, girl, or any of that. If a resume looks good, I usually recommend it. And I say, I think this person is like a good person. I don't really take into account like those factors. I can't really say the same for like, I don't know how other companies operate, but yeah. So how to separate? Okay, those are all the questions. That's awesome. And there's still 10 minutes left, but if no questions enter the chat in like the next minute, I guess we could just call it here. Someone asked me my TC question mark. I debate answering this one. Oh, a new question came in. That's awesome. My experience is only in training and internship. Can I mention my experience without training internship? I don't know what that question means. My experience is only in training and internship. Can I mention my experience without mentioning? Like, do you want to, like you were like an intern, but you want to say your job that you, without mentioning that you're an intern? Like, I don't think so. I think that's like a little misleading. If someone is an intern, it means that you probably had like lots of assistants throughout like your position. But if you're like a full-time engineer, you're probably like very like standalone. It just describes different skill sets, so probably not. Someone asked, do I enjoy software engineering? Yes. I think software engineering is amazing. There are many times when I am bothered, I have issues with something, and if a solution does not exist, I can make it myself. There was this one tweet I really like that is, software engineers can sit at a keyboard and literally make value for people out of thin air. And I think that's true. I think that there's a bunch of times I need some kind of like solution to something and I can just make it. I don't need to like go to Home Depot, buy fucking hardware, pieces of wood to build something. Keyboards are awesome. Coding is awesome. All this is fucking amazing. Someone asked, do you feel like Ramp is an upgrade, downgrade from the FANGs you have worked at before? I think that people covet FANG a lot. I've done my tenure. I did my Amazon. I did my Facebook. And I think Ramp is probably my favorite company that I've worked for. Actually, we're LinkedIn's #1 startup of 2023. I think we're doing amazing. We just raised like a 6 billion funding round. So I don't think we're a downgrade. I think we're pretty awesome. I really like working here. If money was not a factor, would you still be a SWE? I do like being a software engineer a lot. Money does play a huge factor. I would debate going into teaching. If not, the money, like if the money was the same, I do enjoy teaching a lot. So I will say that. Someone tells me, tell me a typical day in my life. I'm gonna assume at work. I go to work, I open my GitHub, I check if I have any things to review because other engineers will ask me, can you look at my code? And then I will check if people have left comments on my pull request because I open pull request and I say, guys, can you look at this? Does it look good? Address some feedback, have breakfast, talk to my manager, talk to my team. What should we do today? So on and so forth. Do we have any new projects, for example? So a lot of that, go in meetings. I have so many meetings. Right now we're trying to think of like some new projects for like our next quarter. So I've had a lot of planning meetings today, like what should we work on? What have customers like asked for? So on and so forth. So meetings, talking to people. I think contrary to belief, like in 9 hours, in like an 8 hour day, I spend maybe like 4 hours coding. A lot of it is like talking to people, for sure. Should you include non-technical experience? Do you care about gaps in a resume, like a year? I mean, if you're a student, it makes sense to have gaps in a resume. I don't really care about gaps generally. Include non-technical experience, like sure, so you don't have white space, but you should make projects to replace it. Answered. Okay, cool. Do you sometimes feel underqualified at my job or previous internships? If so, how do I overcome that? Yeah, at my job currently, like I think my manager is one of the smartest engineers I have like ever worked with, seriously. And the way I overcome that is very much like embracing the fact that I don't think I'm that smart. Like I will go to my manager. We have one-on-ones every Thursday. So in our one-on-one today, I said like, hey, I struggled a lot doing like this, for example, like this project or this assignment. I was really confused on how to implement certain things. What was I supposed to do to like, how could I have done that by myself? And he links me a bunch of resources, like how he learned as well. I think that understanding that you aren't great at something is probably the first way to get over it, obviously. And talking to people who are better than you, who can tell you how to improve on that, right? Because if you are bad, you don't know how to get better. But if you talk to someone who is like very proficient at their job, they can tell you like, this is what I did to be better at my career. So talk upwards and also understand when you are lacking in something. A lot of humility, like understand that you are not going to be the best engineer at your company and there's always going to be someone you can learn from. So that one's answered. Okay. Further question, legal authorization to work in the US on a job app. Doesn't matter if you put yes or no as a yes, it matters a lot. If you ever applied to a job and it asked you, are you authorized to work in the US? If you put no, because you aren't authorized to work in the States, there is a very good chance that you will get rejected. And that is just like an undeniable fact. It is work to get someone's sponsorship, like to sponsor another person to work in the States, like that is a lot of work and a lot of companies don't want to do that. A lot of the big companies like, like Facebook, Amazon, they have good lawyers, good legal team. They do it for them. So they generally will do it anyways. While smaller ones, probably not. They'd rather just hire someone in the States. It sucks, but it is what it is. So that's all we got. Okay. Cool. No more questions, but I'll wait for another minute. Otherwise, we are all done. Shit, I'm gonna open my Sprite, which I took from our company fridge. How can we improve the chances to get internships at Facebook and Amazon? I think that this is something that I've never like shied away from, but I don't think that I am anything special. And I don't think people should view working at Facebook or Amazon as some coveted thing that's like locked behind some door. I've known a bunch of people who got internships at Facebook who didn't even have like a degree. And it's all due to like merit. If you have really good projects, the prior internships, if you're obviously very good at lead code, because you can get a interview at Facebook, and if you fail the interview, like that's it, right? So getting just really good at lead code, which you can do on your own, making really good projects on your own, which you can do. Like, I think we need to think about what are the fundamental building blocks to get what you want. I think that if you want to work at Facebook, if you want to be an intern at Facebook, that means you need to be an intern somewhere else first. You got to be an intern at like IBM or Datadog or something. You got to like go lower. Like you go intern at like a bank, intern like for your professor, just do fucking something. Go make projects. You got to do like a bunch of things okay? And then you could build your way up. If someone asks, how much do I get paid? Like, honestly, I don't know if I should answer that question. I'm not gonna lie. I get paid. Okay. I get paid 190,000 USD a year. I hope that answers that question. Okay, 190. Cool. Do we have other questions? Oh, we have two of them. Is it worth showing the move from intern to full-time on a resume, or just show the latest position? Honestly, I would probably put the intern position and then the full-time one as well. It just shows that you were probably good enough to get a return offer. So that's good. Let me see. What is the chance of me getting a job after I graduate if I don't have internships at all during university? That's tough. That is really fucking hard. Because right now, you know what, let me tell you a little bit about the state of the world. So in 2019, we had a great job market, and in 2021, we had a great job market. A lot of tech companies were hiring way too much, and then everything blew up, and now a lot of companies had to do a bunch of layoffs, and now a lot of people are really scared, and they are choosing not to hire new grads directly. So LinkedIn and Datadog this year, as far as I know, will not hire new grads. They would rather hire interns, and whoever does well, they will take them and convert them to be new grads. And that's a very smart strategy. It's very safe. You already know who's good at being an engineer and who's not, and it's just very cost efficient. So what that means is you have a lot of people who are graduating, so you have an influx of applicants, and you have a decreased amount of job application or job openings. So it's really fucking hard. If you graduate and you can't find a job and you don't have internships, the best thing I could do is network as much as you can, go to hackathons as much as you can, and make projects. You know, show that you're still a good software engineer at heart. You can make a bunch of projects. So that one's answered. Someone asked, how do we be like you? Like, I'm just a guy. Honestly, I am literally just a regular dude. I went to school, I went to York, I did internships, I work, and like I did nothing special. I'm literally just a guy. It's very easy. Do leak code, do projects, network, make friends, drink a few beers. I love beer, dude. I love beer. I love drinking beer. Have ever worked regular jobs that weren't SWE and tech? Yeah, I tutored in high school. I was a TA at York as well. I love teaching. Honestly, I think about being a professor like when I'm tired of being a software engineer. I really like teaching. If you mean like retail, working at like boba shops, like probably not. I hope that answers questions. And from Love Josh, how many internships kids have? 3 mid ones or 1 really big one? That's tough. You got to say like names. Like if you're saying like an internship at Facebook or internship at like 3 banks, I got to say like Facebook, of course. It's all about the names. It really sucks. Like let me say that right now. The name of a company like matters a lot. Just where you start, it just kind of determines like what goes on next. Like after I worked at Amazon and I was applying, like I had a lot of callbacks from a bunch of companies, and it just helped a lot. And then when I finished my internship at Facebook, I got way more callbacks. Like it sounds not that great, I know, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Okay, so I was missing a lot of the questions in chat, but someone asked how many LeetCode questions have I done? I've solved, I think 424 LeetCode questions. Someone asked, how did you get your first big internship? How did you make yourself stand out? This is literally something I've answered like a bunch of times. I went through a bunch of hackathons. I networked a bunch. I made a bunch of projects because, okay, are you guys listening? If you can't get an internship, you can still prove that you are a good software engineer through your project. Like if I want right now, I can open my editor and I can make an entire full stack app. I can literally mock some e-commerce website that has a nice front end, that has a bunch of back end endpoints, that uses the Slack or fucking Stripe API, uses that. I can do a bunch of things to still prove to the world that I am still a good software engineer even without internships. Okay, that's all it is. I'm just a dude, and you can do it too. It's not hard. It is hard. Sorry, let me rephrase. It is hard, but it's possible. It just takes a lot of work, a lot of hard work. And I'm gonna keep reading chat. Kyle asks, how do I work at Fang? It's whatever. How much LeetCode do I do? Like 400. How good am I at graphs? pretty good. I love graphs. Let me see. Blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. Good job, Mimi. Recent. Blah 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 blah. Reading chat. Reading chat. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. Job game. Blah 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 blah. Project. Blah 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 blah. Okay. Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to read in chat. And oh, someone asked, can I stop? And yeah, I think we're done. I think we're at the time limit. Let's see. How old am I? Why do I have so much hair? I'm 23. I graduated last year. Cool. That was last question then. I thought this ended at 8. No, it ended at 7:30. It was supposed to be at 8, and I didn't want to stay here that long. Okay, we're cool. We're awesome. Awesome. Cool. I'm gonna see you guys later.
All right. You can join the breakout room, Chris, and we can
Oh,
do the ending.
sure.
So let me.
I'll do that.
All right. Thank you. All right. I think it is great to say that this has been very, very, very informative. I personally as well did not know a lot about the resume thing. So thank you, Chris. Everyone's already mentioning. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Really nice time getting TA'd. Oh, these are okay. Everyone's just excited. All right. So thank you again, Chris. You can wait in the breakout room or here. It's just going to be like us wrapping up. So basically, you can all see your resumes or your golden ticket into getting into the tech industry. As well as like with networking, as you said, network, have like talk to friends, drink a beer. If you don't drink beer, I don't know, drink water. Then with that, we can say it was an incredible workshop. We have learned so much. We've learned a lot today. Remember, like inconsistencies, like remember down your resumes, like removing inconsistencies, highlight your actual skills, talk about like, what you actually did, quantify. I think that quantify thing, I've heard it a lot, like quantify what you actually did, highlight your skills. Yeah, I'm wrapping a bit fast because I want us to get done because I don't know if anyone has anything else to do and I want us to get to our next events. Okay, so, before that, actually, you guys can connect with Chris on LinkedIn. Let me get his LinkedIn to post in chat. So 1 second. Okay, I'm just gonna put his like name. I think everyone knows LinkedIn is linkedin.com/in. Then Chris NGY NGUYN. Chris. Let me put that there. Or can someone actually help me share his LinkedIn? I'll put the Chris part too. Chris. Okay. As is LinkedIn. Then let me get the other links because I'm going to be talking about our next event. So we do have our next event and it is in person. It's going to be, I think, in Bergeron, but remember the date, November 5th, 5 p.m. We will be talking about it on our Instagram and our Discord. So make sure you actually follow our socials to learn more about it. So it's a code relay and game night, basically. So it's going to be more of a social event. So everyone, you can meet everyone they've met here. Thank you, Anna. She's posted Chris's LinkedIn, so make sure you connect with him there. But with our event, we have the code relay game night. Make sure to actually RSVP on our site. That's how we actually know, because I see like 48, about 40 of you actually came. We only saw 36 RSVPs. Please do join the GDSC site and RSVP there so that we can actually see who's attending, so we can know if you really like this stuff, right? So I'm gonna post our socials in the chat. It's a lot. The main one is a Discord, but everything else is there. So make sure you join our Discord, make sure you follow us on Instagram, and most importantly, make sure you actually join our chapter on the GDSC site so that we can actually know how many members, so we can plan better for like rooms. As we can see, there's been a great turnout today, so we can actually have our in-person event and probably plan for a bigger room. Hopefully we can all fit in and not be at capacity. All right, so that's the events, that's our socials. Please do actually join our socials. Then I guess we can just end with a screenshot. So just to like post on our socials to see that, okay, everyone's here. And yeah, we will be having more events. So obviously like stay tuned for that. We're gonna have like way more in winter. As we can see, you are all here. Let me take a screenshot. So if you do want to turn on your camera, feel free to turn it on now. Then we can take a screenshot and we can post it on our Instagram. Everyone okay with that? Thumbs up? Oh, want to post, thumbs up. Okay, I'll just take a screenshot now. All right. I'm the one taking a screenshot. I don't know why I'm doing my hands like that. But yeah, without any more delays in your days, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and take care. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Can we add? Let me stop recording.